Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. If you are new here, welcome to the channel in general. Today we're going to be talking about a little addictive game that I just picked up recently called Supermarket Simulator. And I have been pretty hooked on this game. It's in pretty early access, so it doesn't have a crazy amount of content, but the content that is here, it's absolutely worth playing. So I just wanted to go through some things that I learned throughout my first kind of run with this game. Um, Mainly days 1 through 5, just kind of going through the motions and figuring out how the game worked. There's a few things I learned that I wanted to share with people to make your new supermarket run a little bit easier. So, first things first, do not be afraid to spend your money. In this game, you are given a limited amount of money starting off, and you're going to want to have that urge to kind of hold on to a bit. And I realize they tell you the objective is not to go bankrupt, but the one thing you need to remember is everything that you put on your shelves will sell. It might not sell right away. There won't be everybody who comes inside of the store that wants everything that's there, but people will come in and they will buy the items. So going bankrupt or losing money is very difficult to do in this game unless you're extremely financially just irresponsible. So don't worry about that too much. Spend your money, buy the items you need, fill up your shelves. The stuff is going to sell. This next tip is not really useful at all, but it is pretty interesting. The small town that you live in is actually fully explorable. You can actually walk around and take a look at the entire area that you live in, and it's not just that street that you're living on. There's nothing to do there, which is kind of lame, but you know what? You can do it. It's a thing. So take a look around. Tip number 3 is a bit of a big one, and it's kind of important to consider when you're playing this game the first time, particularly in the first 10 days or so, because you're going to be absolutely the one running the register, and this is going to make your life so much easier. And that tip is whole dollar amounts are your best friend. Now you're going to be given recommended dollar amounts for the items that you should sell them for in order to maximize profit, but also not make your guests upset. I wouldn't say completely ignore these, but what I will say is instead of adding change values that are consistent with what's displayed, stick to either whole dollar amounts or 50-cent amounts and just either round up or down depending on where the money is. So for example, if an item is 30 something cents, like $8.30 something cents, you can either opt to go up to $8.50 or you can opt to go down to $8 even. Either one, if you want it to be on sale or if you want it to be a slightly overpriced, whichever one is fine, but this will make your ringing up, particularly cash stuff, significantly easier. Just giving out the change is more simplistic. You don't even have to really worry about pennies and nickels and all that stuff anymore. It just makes your life a lot easier. So whole dollar amounts or 50-cent amounts that's where you want to go. It's very helpful when it comes to ringing people out. This next tip may sound like a given, but really, I really want to emphasize exactly how important this is. Organization in your store absolutely matters, especially when it comes to restocking your items. You want to make sure that you have basically each row or shelf specifically designated for one item. You don't want to be mixing them up and putting items all over the place. It doesn't really affect the way that the people shop, but what it does do is it makes you replenishing items on the shelves significantly more tedious, and you really don't want to make that more tedious, especially if you get up into the upper 10s and 20s for your days. It's rough. Do not put yourself into that position, because I'm telling you, it's gonna be bad news for you if you start placing just items kind of anywhere. So get used to the idea of saying, okay, I bought this shelf. This shelf is specifically for this item or these 2 items. Typically, I don't have more than 2 items per shelf. And the one thing that does do is it kind of ruins the realism a little bit. It makes things look so like really uniform and kind of samey and takes the variety out of it. But the convenience, it just makes a lot more sense. So It's up to you, really. Aesthetically, it might not be the best thing to look at, but it does help you in the overall. So that's just my tip. You don't have to take it if you don't want to, but that's the way I'm going about things. And finally, this last tip is really important. If you get to level 10 and you get a cashier, don't just leave the cashier on his own. It is important that you help your cashier also. So when he's backed up and there's a bit too many customers, hop on the register and help out. Build another register, hop on and help out, because this having one helper or cashier is important and it does help, but he is not nearly as fast as you are, so it's going to take him a lot longer. When you have two cashiers, it's not so bad. You can basically leave them on their own, but I also don't recommend you do that either, and this is why. One of the important prerequisites to getting more cashiers is you have to actually ring out a specific amount of customers yourself, and that becomes very important later on. So it is important that you continue to ring out customers at least until you reach the threshold to unlock the next cashier. So just keep that in mind, because if you hire cashiers, let them do all the work, and then it's time for you to hire another one, you're a high enough level, you won't be able to do it. It won't be available for you to do it because you still have to ring out the right amount of customers. So help out your employees. Don't be a don't be a crappy manager. Help those guys out. So yeah, that's just 5 things right now that I've learned while playing Cooking Simulator. Be sure to share anything that you guys have learned down in the comment section below. And also let me know if there's anything on this list that you didn't know. If you learned anything, definitely hit that like button and share and subscribe. And if you didn't learn anything, then, you know, I don't know what to tell you. No, seriously, if you didn't learn anything, there's going to be many more tips to come out in the future, and maybe check the comment section because you might also learn some new stuff down there. So thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one.